Hey everybody, Blake T. Wild here, and I'm back to talk action figures with this Amazon exclusive Baron Zemo and Arnim Zola 2-pack. Who would have thought that in the year of our Lord 2024 we'd get not one, but two Nazi action figures from Hasbro? It's been 18 years since the last release of Baron Heinrich Zemo, when this dastardly deviant and arch-enemy of wartime superhero Captain America was last on store pegs. He came equipped with a scepter, articulated knuckles, and a Build-A-Figure piece for Mojo. Although the upside to this updated version is that you won't have to buy an alternative variant of the same figure just to get an unmasked head. Taking a look at Mr. Baron Papa Zemo first, this figure reuses the baggy jumpsuit body seen recently on the Red Skull and Dormammu, with the addition of a soft plastic tunic which doesn't hinder his leg articulation. Although the figure itself does have its own problems with relatively limited leg movement. What I love is that this figure feels like it jumped out of a Jack Kirby comic book. It's over the top, almost stylized compared to more modern releases from Marvel Legends. A Nazi scientist and inventor during World War II, it was in a confrontation with Captain America that Baron Zemo became bonded to his magenta hood after he was covered in Adhesive X. And there's no doubt in my mind that many will be purchasing this to customize it into a 6-inch hooded Cobra Commander figure to go into their G.I. Joe classified display. Something about the hood itself is that the crown is removable. However, due to the sculpt, it does leave him looking a little pinheaded. The rest of the figure's articulation is just classic Marvel Legends that everyone knows and expects. As this is a reused body, there's no real surprises. And here he is with both feet flat on the floor. Oh my god, look at him! The snow leopard fur on his collar and boot cuffs are both made of a soft rubber plastic. I would have liked to have seen the same leopard print on the boots, but knowing Hasbro, we're lucky enough that they even gave him the boots with the fur. I guess that's just what you get when you pay for a deluxe 2-pack figure. And speaking of his fur collar, it does inhibit head articulation due to both it and the V-shape of his hood, but the collar is removable, and his neck is a kind of double dumbbell joint. Zemo's additional head is this grotesque, ruined face of a man gone mad. It's a fantastic sculpt and print. Just absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's almost on par with G.I. Joe classified head sculpts and printing, which I believe are the best that Hasbro's done in years. Maybe this is their secret way of getting both a masked and unmasked Cobra Commander out to the public. You may have some issues if you are trying to give Zemo his crown, as the crown is molded in a very specific way to affix to his hooded head. If you push it down onto the unmasked head, it will fit, but again, the distinct shape may get warped over time if you leave it there. Oops, there he goes. For accessories, Zemo comes with 6 hands, 2 trigger hands, his maniacal villain hands, and 2 fists. A Luger pistol molded in solid black. Technically, I suppose his fur collar is an accessory, as is his grotesque head. And sword, which, if memory serves correct, and it might not, is the same sword that came with the original Hasbro Baron Zemo, which was released 10 years ago. 10 years later, father and son are finally reunited. Moving on to everyone's favorite computer stomach-faced supervillain, Arnim Zola was a biochemist and genetic engineer during World War II, as well as a high-ranking member of Hydra. This figure was originally released in 2012 as a Build-A-Figure from Hasbro's second foray into the 6-inch Marvel action figure series dubbed The Return of Marvel Legends. That original release saw both a faceplate for Arnim Zola himself, as well as the Red Skull. The figure was re-released in 2019 in a more dastardly and modern update, which saw him alongside Hydra Supreme, Steve Rogers. But just like Zemo, this is a welcome addition to my collection, as it feels again like it popped out of the pages of a Jack Kirby comic. I love it. And nowhere is that more noticeable than his faceplate.
First correction, I am Swiss.
Articulation is to be expected, especially if you've already purchased a version of this Zola before. Very limited leg movement with an outdated, almost Y-angled hip. Very limited arms due to the sculpt. It's Arnim Zola, so he's not going to really need to be in any dynamic poses. His camera head moves around very well, and the sculpt does hold up after all these years. My biggest issue with the figure is the yellow paint on the wrists, belt, and boots. It's clearly visible that the figure was molded in the purple plastic and then painted over in the yellow in a single coat, because you can see where it overlaps, which is insane, because the previous 2 Zolas seemingly didn't have that issue. The boots are just the worst offender, too. It's absolutely atrocious and shoddy. Forces me to remember that awful Hellcat figure which had similar problems. And on another downside is that Zola still comes with the same two accessories that we've seen with every Zola release. His submarine periscope alternative camera, and a 1990s cell phone/control device. I love the magenta and colorful buttons, it just screams 1960s Marvel comic. Overall, I am very happy to finally have these two figures. The Toy Biz Zemo, while fantastic and I've had it in my collection for years, was incredibly outdated and almost falling apart, so it was a needed upgrade. Arnim Zola is a repurposed Build-A-Figure from 12 years ago. Price is fine for what you're getting. I would have liked to have seen a few more accessories, especially for the $50 price point, but hey, that comes out to $25 a figure, which is what the new releases are on average. I hope that we do see more Jack Kirby-inspired classic characters make their way into the line, and these are just two really cool villains to add to your Hydra army. Let me know what you thought of these figures in the comments below. Are you getting this 2-pack? Did you already get it? And don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and follow me on Instagram at NotBlackWild, and check out my Patreon where you get early access to videos and serialized releases of my very own comics. I'll see you next time. Bye!